learning tarot is just learning all the meanings of the cards, right? No. If you have watched any tarot reading video or read any book on tarot, you realize that just knowing the meanings of the cards is only half the battle, maybe less than that. I used to offer this compilation of information of all my tarot tips and techniques to mentorees as a paid class, but I decided that I wanted to offer it to all of you for free here on YouTube. I've been reading tarot for 17 years and I do approximately 7,000 readings a year, and I've learned over those years that tarot is not as simple as just knowing the meanings. There are a lot of things about tarot that confuse people, like how do I do clarifiers? When do I do clarifiers? How do I memorize these cards faster? This is taking forever. How do I do timing? And so many more questions. So this video is going to address all of those questions. There's also a free PDF of all my tarot card meanings on my website, tarot-astrology.com, which you can find in the description box below. It will tell you all the astrological correspondences, timings, Kabbalah Tree of Life associations, and more. All you have to do is log on to that website and it will ask you if you would like to get that PDF. If you're interested in personal readings or mentorship sessions from myself, you can get my contact information in the description box below. All right, let's go.
I'm going to strongly suggest to you that you learn on a Rider-Waite-Smith deck. This is the Radiant Rider-Waite-Smith, but you see the very traditional images here. If you don't want something that is so restrictive feeling to you, if you want something that's a little more inclusive, I would suggest the Modern Witch. But the reason that I suggest this deck is because most tarot decks that you're going to buy today are based on the Rider-Waite-Smith imagery, and this imagery is created to spark your intuition. Everything in these pictures matter, from the color to the positions, the clouds, the background, and all of that imagery is meant to captivate and aid your intuition. The second thing that I'm going to tell you is to use these borders right on your borders. Now, you can actually go through your cards and write the meanings on your borders. That practice alone is going to help you memorize these cards. I'm also going to show you a clip here on how to memorize your deck meanings in under one day. Honestly, it should take you maybe 2 to 4 hours and you will not forget those meanings. But writing them on here is a great practice as well. What I write on mine is the astrological decanates, essentially the time periods that correspond to each one of these cards. So the Devil is the Capricorn energy page, doesn't have any association, but you know, this is how I do my timing. It's Venus and Aquarius, and here's the timing. And you can get all of these timing associations on the PDF that's available on my website. Let's learn how to shuffle this tarot deck like a boss. You're going to grab your tarot deck, split it with your thumb like so, make both piles face the same direction downwards. You're going to grab it with your thumb, your middle finger on top, and your ring finger. Your index fingers you are going to tuck under like this. And then, using the pressure of these fingers to bend it, these aren't really doing anything, let them fly off of your thumb. If you want to go back in the other direction, press your thumb here. Hold the deck kind of on this padded part of your hand. And let them go. The other way to shuffle is an overhand shuffle. You can do this really fast so that you'll get jumpers. Or you can do it a little bit more slowly so that you can choose cards as you go. The last way is to fan your cards out and intuitively choose. I recommend using your left hand since most of us associate our left hand with our intuitive side.
Now, to memorize your cards faster, I want to tell you about the Memory Palace technique. I'm probably not the best at explaining it, but I'll try. So basically, our memories are much more functional. They do a much better job with visual memory than with words. So if you're trying to memorize a bunch of keywords, your brain doesn't really latch onto that very well. Instead, if you think of something strange, or a story, or even better, a strange story, to go with each tarot card that interlaces that with the meaning, you're going to remember those pretty much the first time that you go through the deck and do that for each card. So to give you an example, we've got the Page of Pentacles. one of the main features or keywords for the Page of Pentacles is student, learning, research, okay? So we're gonna pretend, because here we've got a coin card, right? Pentacles, coins, money, tangible things. Let's say this little young guy, he's going off to pay off his monstrous student loan debt, right? So he's starting off and he doesn't even realize how much debt he is about to acquire going to college. Now you're going to remember, he's going to college. He's learning something. It's a student, right? Now, the Two of Wands. This one's a little tricky because it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of context when you just look at the picture. But you see this globe. This guy's staring off into the distance. What is he staring at? Is he trying to figure out where he should go next? Exactly. He's making a plan. He's strategizing. Do I stay or do I go? There is a way to learn to read tarot without ever having to memorize the meanings, and this is the intuitive method that I teach. So first you want to start with an open-ended question, a who, what, when, where, why question. And then choose 3 cards. For this, I recommend not using reversals. So say your question is, how is my work week going to go? First, you have the Two of Pentacles, the 10 of Wands, and the 3 of Cups. So you're going to come up with a keyword for each one of those cards. For example, the 2 of Pentacles, you might say juggling. The 10 of Wands, heavy burdens or struggle. The 3 of Cups, celebration. Then you're going to blend those keywords. So you might say something like, this week has a lot of tasks to juggle. That makes you feel like you're under a lot of pressure and you're working really hard and you're struggling under all of those burdens. But finally, Friday comes and now you're ready to celebrate. A quick word on intuition. Intuition is something that is a skill that we develop. Some of us have musical ability from the moment that we're born, and we don't really have to struggle to learn how to play an instrument. We just need a little bit of guidance. We just need that tool in our hands. Tarot can be like that for some of us. And for some of us, we have to really work at it. Either is fine. It's a muscle, and the more you use it, the better you're gonna get. However, one mistake that I see people make a lot is not trusting their intuition. Remember, the cards are the tool. They're not the oracle. You are the oracle. So when your intuition is telling you that an answer is true, maybe that happens before the cards are even laid out in front of you, trust it. And don't undersell that intuition. Another thing is, don't be afraid to be wrong. Now, I'm going to give you a really good tip on this later in this video, so stay tuned for it. Every good tarot reading starts with a good question. Good questions have 2 main key features. And then I'm going to give you a bonus to make it a better question. But good questions should be open-ended, meaning no yes, no's, and they should also not be assumptive. So let me break that down for you. A yes, no question is, will I get the job? Or should I call him? We don't want to do that. Instead, we want to rephrase that into something that is a who, what, when, where, why type question. So we might say, what can I expect in communication from this person this week? Notice how I put timing there on the end of it, because we're asking something that we want to know about in a particular period of time. Like, we don't want to know if this person is ever in our whole life going to call us. We want to know if we're going to get a phone call in the next week. So a great question to ask here would be, what can I expect in communication from this person this week or this month, whatever your time period is. Try not to go too far out, because the wider you open up your time frame, the more room for error you have, because the more life happens, free will happens. Number 2, good tarot questions should not make assumptions. So instead of saying, when will we get back together? You're going to want to say, what can I expect in this relationship? Now, bonus tip, how to ask the best questions. So the best questions for tarot give you power over your own life. So instead of saying, will I get this job? You might say, what can I do to appear confident and give myself the best chance at getting this job? Or, how can I come across in such a way that will make this person receptive to reconciling with me? Have you ever gone to a dinner party with 9 people and they're all talking, and you're trying to figure out where the conversation is going and who's talking about what, it gets really confusing because of all the voices. But if you go out to dinner, nice little intimate affair with just your two best friends, you guys can easily tell what the conversation is, what everybody's talking about, what everybody means. This is why I suggest that you use only 3 cards for most questions. I'm not harping on the Celtic cross or using big spreads, but especially when you're beginning, I would start with 3 cards. That's going to keep it simple. You're going to be able to understand how all of those cards are relating to each other, and you can always continue to pull more cards as you want more clarification, more answers, more things might come to you. You might start with a love read saying, what can I expect in communication with this guy this week? And you see that it looks like he's going to call, but it doesn't look like the conversation is going to be very good. So now you can ask another question and pull 3 more cards and say, what will this conversation look like? That's going to make things so much more clear for you. Let's learn about reversals. Now, you don't have to use reversals at all if you don't want to. There are 78 cards in the deck, and I promise you're not going to miss something if you don't use reversals. But if you want to, I'm going to teach you a handy little acronym that Benabel Wynn, the author of Holistic Tarot, this book is the absolute Bible on tarot, came up with. Basically, the WIND acronym stands for weakened, inverted, negative, and delayed energy of the upright card. So weakened would mean that the effect, the force of the upright would be less than. Inverted means the opposite of the upright version. Negative means whatever's happening in that card, the negative versions of that or the negative energy of that are going towards the seeker. And delayed means it's just a delay in whatever outcome or possibility that that upright card indicates. This is a little tricky, so it's definitely a place that you have to use your intuition. Okay, I'm going to teach you how to do timing questions with tarot, but a little caveat first. You can't predict timing for an event that's not going to happen. So you need to either first establish that the event will indeed occur, or you might use a method like saying, if I pull a reversed card or one of the tarot cards that is not associated with timing, there is no timing associated or the event's not going to happen. So here is methods number 1 and 2, and in the TikTok video that follows, you are going to see my method of doing timing. So first we're going to take a card that has a number associated with it, in this case 2, and wands indicate days. So we're going to say 2 days, or we might be saying in the springtime. Here this is the 8 of swords, so we're going to say 8, and swords are weeks, so 8 weeks, or in the autumn. Cups are associated with the summer, so you might say the ace is the beginning of summer, or since aces are 1, you might say 1 month, because cups are associated with months. Pentacles are associated with years. So here we have 7 years, or in the winter. And lastly, there are 12 major arcana cards that are associated with the zodiac signs. For example, the Hierophant is associated with Taurus. So you would say this is going to happen during Taurus season. For all of these associations, check out the PDF that's on my website. Let's talk about clarifying cards. A little bit of a danger zone that readers can get into, especially new readers, is clarifying cards just because they don't understand them. In that case, I would suggest sitting with the cards and sitting with the spread a little bit longer, because clarifiers usually make things more challenging, not less so. Because every time you add a card to another card as a clarifier, you are having to blend again. So if you already have one card and then you add another, it doesn't change the meaning of that first card, it adds to it. So when you get into a pickle and you have one card here at the end and then you have another one as a clarifier and it's completely different from the first one, you're really gonna have to do some mental gymnastics. 2 times that I do suggest using clarifiers is when you are doing a spread and you're seeing a major change between one part of the spread and another. You might want to know, hey, why did everything start out great over here and then go to shit over here? Another reason is if your outcome card is a court card, because you might want to know, does that mean that this energy, this person, for example, is it a person that maybe the King of Swords here, he's in control of the situation? Or does it represent the energy of the King of Swords, the strategy, the logic? So be really careful when you start pulling more and more cards.
Court cards are something that really can trip people up. I'm not going to tell you that I have the ultimate answer on court cards and I'm going to tell you everything about them, but I am going to make this a lot more simple for you. So the pages are youthful, young energy. It may be a person that is young, like a child or a youth, an adolescent, but usually I see these as messenger cards. So the most talkative of all of them is the Page of Swords, because remember, swords is air energy and that's communication. So the Page of Swords is going to indicate usually somebody calling you or somebody reaching out to you. Sometimes the reversal can indicate that somebody is checking up on you and trying to get more information about you without actually communicating. The Page of Pentacles is, remember, we're talking about the kid that's going off to college. So it's the student. Usually the messages that he's receiving or giving are about practical matters. The Page of Cups, we think about love and sweet things, emotional messages. So this is somebody maybe telling you, hey, I really miss you. I want to talk to you. I want to see you. It can also be that puppy love stage where we're first falling for someone. The Page of Wands often reminds me of a lesser version of the Fool card because he's ready to explore. He's ready to go off on an adventure. And he's just super excited because the Page of Wands, fire energy here, is passionate. So he might be talking about some passionate new idea that he has, or he might be the friend that goes, hey, let's go take a trip. The Knights are action cards, just like the Pages are messenger cards. So they're all talking about some kind of action being taken regarding the matter of their suit. The Page of Swords is going to be very quick to communicate. He's verbally very fast. Maybe somebody who doesn't have a great filter. The Knight of Wands takes action based on his passion, his impulses. I often call this the fuckboy of the tarot because, he follows his wand around. And the Knight of Pentacles is a big work card for me, but it usually indicates slow, steady, practical action, methodical. And the Knight of Cups takes action based on their emotions. It's usually somebody coming in to offer you love and affection. However, caveat with this card, especially if you're not using reversals, he can say and sometimes even do a lot of sweet things, but his sincerity is going to be told by the cards that are surrounding him. The most straightforward way to read the Kings and Queens is by just looking at them as people or qualities and traits of particular people. The way I usually do it is this. So the swords being air energy, the pentacles being earth energy, the cups being water energy, and the wands being fire energy. This is going to indicate a male and female fire sign, male, female water sign, male, female earth sign, and male, female air sign. So I'm a Scorpio and I'm a female. So I would be the Queen of Cups. Usually in readings, when you get Kings and Queens, they are talking about people. Sometimes they're showing the quality expressed by those people.
I know that some of us aren't so comfortable genderizing the tarot court. And if that's the case, I'm going to explain to you how you can adjust this, but I'm not just going to placate you. I'm going to actually give you the technical reason why. So all of the pages are whatever their element is of earth. So for example, the Page of Cups would be water of earth. The Knights are of fire, the Queens are of water, and the Kings are of air. Now, again, I'm going to be a little stereotypical, but please hear me out. So women traditionally are known as being more emotional, more watery. And men are known for being more logical, more airy. Now, those personality traits can come out in anyone, right? So let's say we have an individual who is pretty grounded, but they still have an emotional nature. So we might talk about them being the Queen of Pentacles, even if they're not a woman. Sometimes we can get really confused because we ask a question about one topic and we pull cards that don't seem to have anything to do with that topic. So I want to show you what to do in those situations. When that happens, you're applying the meaning of the card in a very rigid way, instead of looking at the essence, the energy that is the undercurrent of that card. So I've intentionally chosen 3 cards that don't seem like they have a whole lot to do with love, and I'm going to apply them to a relationship reading. I'm going to ask the question, where is this relationship headed? And I have the 4 of Swords, the 7 of Pentacles, and the Emperor. The 4 of Swords is a card about rest and respite after something difficult has happened, because it comes after the 3 of Swords. And the 7 of Pentacles is about persevering, putting in the time and the energy and waiting for that harvest to come. It's time well invested. And the Emperor is structure and discipline and boundaries. So where is this relationship headed? We might say, after a period of not a lot of action, a period of calm where it doesn't really seem like there's too much going on, we've decided that we're going to continue to persevere and work at this relationship because we know that the harvest is going to come. And eventually it pays off in more discipline and better structure and perhaps better boundaries in the relationship. You can apply this to any question and any set of cards. If you're getting a bunch of cup cards that are all emotional, but we're talking about work and finances, it's going to relate more to how you feel about those topics in your life. Just like if we're doing a reading about love and we're getting a bunch of pentacles, it's more about the effort and the time and the value that we place on those relationships.
I'm going to throw in 3 TikTok videos now that will show you my main cards for lying, cheating, and reconciliation.
My best tip that I always tell people when they're learning tarot is to read for strangers on the internet. Essentially, go find a tarot group on Facebook or Reddit or anywhere else and offer to do readings for free. You can say, hey, for the next 5 people who are willing to give me feedback, that's a key part of it, I am going to do a reading for you for free. When that happens, you can let go of that concern that you're going to be wrong. If you're wrong and you're just horribly embarrassed, you never have to see or talk to that person again. A little pitfall that people get into when they're learning to do tarot, and all of us do this, is they just read for themselves all the time and their bias comes out. They second guess themselves, or they read for their family and their friends. And it doesn't allow a whole lot of room for intuition because you already know the outcome or the situation of that person's life. So that's why I recommend reading for strangers on the internet. Even skilled tarot card readers, professional tarot card readers, have a hard time sometimes reading for themselves, and they will seek out other tarot card readers. So if you're doing the thing that even the professionals have the most difficult time doing, and you're expecting yourself to get better doing that, you're just setting yourself up for frustration. I'm not saying never read for yourself. Absolutely read for yourself, but don't only read for yourself. A final word is all of the tips and techniques and tricks that I've taught you in this video are things that I have learned from my experience. I'm not the tarot god, so come up with your own meanings. Pay attention to what cards pop up when you do your own personal readings and make those things meaningful to you. That way you'll develop a very personal relationship with your tarot card deck. Thanks for watching and hope to see you again.